What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? I'm a little behind schedule thanks to the holidays and stuff. I promised you guys that I would help answer some questions and offer a little advice before Christmas. I didn't get it done, but it is after Christmas. I've gone through the thread in which I gave you guys a chance to ask your questions, ask for advice. I picked about 15 good ones. I didn't pick all the good ones because I thought it would take too long. Some of them are redundant. If I missed your question, I skipped it for whatever reason. Don't take it personal. It's just one of those things that had to get done. I've answered a lot of questions in email and contacted a handful of people as well for people who had issues that were personal that they wanted to keep to themselves. So if you were one of those people, hi. I'm so sorry that some of you are having some of the experiences and problems that you're dealing with. I know what it's like to be in a rough place, but I don't know what it's like to be in your individual situations. And I've got nothing but compassion and love for you. And I hope that I have helped you in some way find the strength that you need to weather whatever it is you have to suffer through and make the decisions that you need to make. A couple of people have really touched me. Some of the emails and messages I got, I even wondered if it was just trolls. But for the most part, it's been fascinating. It's really been fascinating to find out what kind of people are out there, who's watching my vids, and why, and a lot of reasons. Speaking of which, I try not to do this kind of thing, but there's a viewer out there who's watched all my videos, as far as I can tell. Ice Michael Baker, you posted a video that had me really scared recently. You mentioned wanting to do something painful to yourself, harmful to yourself, and I hope that you never do. You know, you're a good Christian man. You clearly have love and compassion in this world. You care about people. You care enough to comment on my videos and other people's videos, and it's sweet of you. It's kind of you. It brightens a lot of people's day. And maybe you are a little unusual, and you mentioned that you're a non-reader and you have a lot of challenges in front of you. And that's true, but at the end of the day, you sure do seem to do a good job overcoming them. And I hope you had an excellent Christmas holiday. I hope that you know your family and yourself are fine. I look forward to you posting another video response so that I just saw that I know you're okay. That said, let's get to some of the questions. Now, some of these are silly. Some of them I may not even really know much of anything about. I may sound a little foolish. You may not like my advice. And if you don't, good news. Don't follow it. Why am I giving advice? I've lived a very unusual life in the 35 years that I've been here. I've met a lot of unusual challenges, things that I don't think a lot of people ever have to face. I've had to survive some pretty bizarre experiences, as well as some of the more benign and boring ones. And I think I'm an experienced person who's learned quite a few things. So if any of that wisdom and any of those experiences go to help somebody else, that's great. And like I said, I'm no expert. You don't like my advice, you don't have to take it. You can even leave hateful comments about how stupid and fat I am. And why would I take advice from a fat old fatty who's eating too many sandwiches? But it's your advice, eat more sandwiches? That's fine. That's cool. Everybody gets a kick out of it. You get a kick out of it. We go on about our lives. So let's see. Sapphire42 said, me and my ex-girlfriend have broken up because I didn't show enough affection towards her and that I didn't message her or call her on a daily basis. This is the girl of my dreams and I want to change my personality to fit her needs. I need her back, Boogie. Well, it's a tough problem, of course. Whether or not you decide you want to change yourself to fit her needs, or you want to remain the person that you are, and it's really a 50-50 shot up. You know, you might be happy doing one, you might be happy doing the other one. You just got to decide ultimately what's best for you. Most relationships are about compromise and change and fulfilling each other's needs, and that's something you may have to consider doing in any relationship you're in. This is the girl of your dreams if you genuinely want this girl, and it's something as minor as this that you can easily fix. I don't think you really need advice. I think you already know what to do. Molinsko posts, life is tough right now. Within the past few weeks, I found out my girlfriend of 2 years had cheated on me. It may not seem like a big deal, but my schoolwork is harder than ever, and I'm failing some of my classes. In general, I feel depressed and unmotivated. Your videos really help me to feel better and get my mind off of the hard things in life. My question is basically, what's your advice on how I might get my life back on track? Stop feeling so down. Dealing with someone you trust, betraying your trust is not an easy thing to do. I've had that happen many times in my life. Of the serious relationships I've been in, most have ended because someone cheated. Almost always her. Actually, always her. But you just have to roll with the punches, man. You got to get out of bed every day, and you've got to do your best. And if you're not achieving that, if you're not trying your best, then you're wasting your life. I mean, it's easy to maintain. It's easy to coast. It's easy to go to your local job at whatever minimum wage establishment you want to use there, and fail your classes and not try to get promoted and not really care about life. It's easy. It's easy to grind your nose against mediocrity if you want. And if it makes you happy, you should continue to do it, I guess. How to get your life back on track? Just realize that there's no other reason not to. Depression, if you're chemically depressed, see a therapist. There's a way out. If you're mentally depressed, see a therapist. There's a way out. If you're just miserable and you don't think you can achieve in a day, then see a therapist to find the way out. If you're unhappy with your surroundings and unhappy with the situation you're in, change it. It's easy. And the only thing that you should need to motivate you to do it is to realize, well, there are ways, there are paths, there are methods, and I'm just sick of this shit. It's time to fix it. When you get sick of it, eventually you will. Eventually you'll be unhappy enough to where you'll do what has to be done. Superman1281. I see a lot of your comments, by the way. I appreciate your comments. I've been a big fan for a while now, Boogie, and right now I'm about to leave. Go to the U.S. Army late this December, and I was wanting to know what you think about that. After basic training and the training after the job I choose, I'm thinking they'll deploy me soon because of what's been going on lately. I'm not too worried, just wondering what's going to happen. What do you think is going to happen to me? I get a lot of friends who ended up in Iraq. A handful didn't make it back. A handful were deployed to Afghanistan. Some didn't make it back. It's the nature of the beast, and when you signed up for service, clearly you knew that that could happen. But the majority of my friends made it home and are safe. Some have done multiple tours and made it safe. And I hope that you make it back home, and I hope that you and your family are just fine. You're one of the success stories. And I hope that the training that they've given you has been good. I hope that you paid attention. I hope you're a capable and intelligent soldier, and I hope that whatever situations you're put in, you're capable of handling it. And if I had to guess, that's going to be the case. I think you're going to be strong. I think you're going to be a good soldier. I think you're going to do what needs to be done, and you're going to come home and be happy. And that's where I put my money if I was a betting man. MS Safari 10 specifically, says I'm in high school right now and life is really tough. I'm trying to fit in like I so easily used to, but people used to like me. I would text, go out to movies, get good grades. Now for some reason I'm having a total confidence dip. I'm not doing well in school, so many of my real friends, no social life. Boogie, what advice do you have struggling in high school or trying to fit in? Man, high school for me was rough. Really rough. I don't think I can really make you understand exactly how rough. Not only did I have a terrible home life, but then the problems that I was getting from having a terrible home life applied itself to my high school life and made it even worse. And in the earlier grades, 6th, 7th grade, I did all right. I had friends. The last few years of school, I didn't very often. And the ones I did have, I don't think cared for me very much. Of course, I was a problem child, I guess is the best way to put it. So it made the problem even more complicated. What I did do is I got into extracurricular activities where it was smaller groups of people, band, football, extemporaneous speaking, Upward Bound. These programs offered an opportunity for me to get to know people on a more personal level, and that gave them a chance to get to know me on a more personal level, and that flourished into friendships that with those people I carried on into college and carried on into my adult life, and people that I still am very close to today. And it's something that you should consider. If you're not doing a lot of extracurricular activities, that may be something you want to look at. And then if that doesn't work, there's always other social meeting places, whether it be a book group or a gaming group or a support group of some sort. There's always a chance where you can meet other people other than the ones that you're currently being rejected by. So ultimately, you just have to be yourself, and then find people who are going to like who you are. And it's not an easy thing to do, but it's something you have to do. Either that or you end up feeling alone. But fitting in, honestly, I wouldn't know how to do it. I wouldn't be interested in doing it. I want to meet people who like me because I don't fit in. And I've managed to do that pretty easily. I'm a love fool wrote, Boogie, how do you get over a girlfriend cheating on you? I'm still with her, so how would I move on from it? Baby, you're talking about something that needs time, and there is no other fixing it. Time is the only way. And it may need to be time apart, it may need to be time together, it may just need to be you breaking up and going on about your life. It depends on how tore up you are and how hurt you are. It depends about whether or not you can ever trust her again. And these are not things that I can tell you. I don't know how you feel. Relationship counseling, relationship therapy might be a really good step in the right direction, especially if you guys are married. You say she's your girlfriend, so I guess that's not the case. But man, I know that for me, when girls have cheated on me in the past, it has been absurdly difficult for me to deal with. And I can imagine it would be for you. So best of luck. And just remember, be patient. If you still want to be with that girl, be patient. Be careful. Don't do anything stupid. Don't let anger and jealousy control you. Make sure that you can trust her again, and then only time can heal the rest of those wounds. The one and one writes, Boogie, I struggle to talk and get girls. I'm 19 years old, never had a girlfriend, and never been kissed. I was fat in high school at about 270 pounds, about 6 foot tall. And now I'm very fit and weigh 195 and I'm 6'2". I guess it's kind of a confidence thing with me, but I can't get past it. If you have any advice, I would love it. And if it happens, you're too busy to get back to me. I understand. Either way, have a Merry Christmas. Hope you enjoy the holiday seasons. Well, the one and one, you're living the dream, baby. You used to be a big guy. Now you're skinny and healthier, and you're still lacking in one major important area, and that's confidence. And confidence is, in a lot of cases, unless you're ridiculously good looking, pretty much step one. If you're not confident enough to talk to the girl, if you're not confident enough to spend time around the girl, if you're not confident enough to think that a girl can want you, there's no chance, period. You have to learn to like yourself, even though you apparently didn't at one point, enough to where you did enough exercise and weight loss to lose 75 pounds, I guess. Wow. I mean, it's a lot of hard work. So there's somebody who didn't like themselves very much. Or I guess some people might say you loved yourself so much that you wanted to lose the weight. But either way, that's a lot of effort to change who you are. Now you just got to learn to like who you are. And that's good. You know, it's easy to do, given time. But realize all of your positive qualities, all your good qualities. Think about the things that would make a woman attracted to you. Amplify the good things. Try to erase the negative ones. Be proud of who you are. And then it's a matter of just meeting people. And women will be attractive, some won't be. It's simple. I don't know. You may not be a very attractive person. I've never seen you. I don't know. So maybe only 1 in 10 women will respond to you at all. Maybe 1 in 100. Maybe 1 in 1,000. The goal is to meet women until you find the women that respond to you. And then if you like her too, then you go on. And confidence, when you meet that one that has that chance of liking you, is really important. So you need to start building confidence. And the easiest way to do that is to think about the good things in your life. Think about what you're proud of in yourself and your accomplishments. And know that those are desirable, wantable things. That's what works for me anyway. Jesus Ninja Pirate says, I am fat and have problems with seating on planes, movie theaters, things like that. What do you do in this situation? Well, I don't know how big you are, man, but I don't have a lot of trouble in the movie theaters. I tend to go to movie theaters that I know have adequate seating. And then I put myself in chairs and seating arrangements that are comfortable for me. And at some restaurants, it's difficult to find a comfortable chair, so I know which restaurants to go to and which are not. Either you fit in a chair or you don't. And if you don't go to those places. If you do, you do. As it comes to planes, man, I can't fly due to other complications, so I can't really tell you. Buy 2 tickets and pray for the best. 80s Purple Pickle says, how long does it take to get over your first relationship? It's been 3 months and I still think about him every single day. I don't know if it was because he was my first or what. Does this happen to everyone? Been tough. I know it's a lame question. The girl who I first really loved and loved me back, I've never forgotten about. I've compared every woman I've ever been with to her in almost every possible way. I will probably do that until the end of time. Doesn't change the fact that I love the women that I've been with. Doesn't change the fact that I didn't care about them. They just weren't the first, though they were still very important to me. It depends on the degree that you plan to get over it. Get over it enough to where you can care about somebody else. It's going to take time. It's all going to take time. Get over it enough to where you forget about them completely. You never will. So you just learn to live with it. You know? And I'm sorry it didn't work out, you know. Eventually, one day you'll roll out of bed and you'll wake up and you'll go, you know, I don't really care that I'm not with that person anymore. I still care about them, but I don't care that I'm not with them. And that's a good day. It was a good day for me. There's always dating on the rebound, meeting new people, hanging out with them, and doing your best to forget about that person. Find somebody else you like more. 3 months is a good start, though. And I hope in 3 months from now, you're over them. Vito22 says, I'm worried about not having a job, and I can't find one either. Bills are piling up. It's getting harder day by day. I was thinking about trying to go to school and see if I can get anything started career-wise. I'm just not sure what to do with my life right now. All I do is sit around, play World of Warcraft, and then drink on the weekends. Any advice? Well, you need at least a minimum wage job, man, and then there's plenty of places that hire for that. And I bet once you really put your fingers into the grindstone and really learn what it's like to work hard, if you have the option of going to school and starting a career, it becomes a lot easier of a choice. You flip burgers long enough, or you do construction long enough, and eventually a lot of people want better if they have the option. It's not easy. It's a long path, and there's a lot of work ahead of you. But anybody that can level a character to 80 can certainly do most book work that needs to be done in an office somewhere. And if nothing else, you can always get entry-level office work. Learn to code, learn to do something. If you're used to sitting in front of the computer, plugging away, accomplishing nothing, you'd probably be good at data entry. So start looking in those directions. Ultimately, you just got to realize that your life is currently on hold, and how long do you want to do that for? How many years do you want to sit around playing with your dick and your imaginary blood elf and getting drunk on the weekends? Eventually, you'll reach a point where you're unhappy doing it, and you'll move forward. And I don't know why you wouldn't want that day to be today. So wake up, realize this is your life, and you only get the one. So get moving. Agro Crush says, I'm in a serious long-distance relationship. We're planning to meet in a few months from now. I was wondering if you could give me some advice about how to spend the time together. I love your vids, Boog. Keep them coming up. Well, Agro, I don't know your girlfriend, so I don't know what she likes to do. But you should definitely try to find things in the area that you're in love with, things that you love to do there, so that you can show her a little bit about yourself. And then find the things that you have in common, and experience those things together. And then specifically, if there's anything she loves, whether it be museums or ponies or pictures of kittens or sex clubs, I don't know, whatever she's into, take her to one. Make sure you can share that part of her life with her too. And ultimately, plan on being in public a lot. Plan on not putting any pressure on her. making sure that she's comfortable. Always keep in mind what she wants to do. Let her know your plans to give her a chance to veto them if she wants, and just relax and have a good time. Should be fun. I've done the long distance relationship thing. Well, once a very long distance, and then once like 300 miles away, so still pretty long distance. And that's exactly what I did, and it worked out both times. So think about it. Gary's XX Mod says, how do you cope with constant humiliation at school and public life for being overweight? I'm overweight, and I don't like going places because I think people might stare and judge me just on my looks. Can you please help? A lot of people do stare at me. A lot of people do judge me based on looks, and I tend to laugh about it, and I think it's funny. Obviously, I'm comfortable with the world taking a look at what I look like and finding humor in it and finding shocking value of it. I realize that for a lot of people, I boil down to nothing but a walking, talking episode of Jerry Springer. And the way that I deal with it is just by realizing that we're all silly little humans. You know, if I saw someone with 4 eyeballs, I don't want to get a good look. If I wanted to see somebody with 12 arms, I'd want to get a really good look. 2 vaginas, I definitely want to get to a good look. Doesn't matter. The bottom line is we all want to, rubberneck. We all want to take a good look. We all want to maybe say things and think things and experience the parts of the human experience that we're not currently experiencing. So sure, if you're at a table and you happen to be eating a little more food than you probably need to eat, people over the table next to you may take a look, and they may look, and they may judge, and then they may talk about you later. Who cares? You might do the same if you had antlers. Did you see that guy hanging bells off his antlers? You're different. We're all a little different. You're different in a way that's visible. We find differences fascinating. It's part of the human experience. Just accept it. It shouldn't keep you from going out and having a nice meal. It shouldn't keep you from going to school and getting along in the day. And if that's what people do, that's what people do. You just got to learn to accept it. And there's a lot of other things people do in a day. You seem to be fine with those. So learn to be fine with this. It's just part of the lifestyle. It's just part of who you are. People are going to be douchebags. If you had antlers, they'd make fun of you too. And if you look perfectly normal, well, they wouldn't be thinking anything of you at all. Is that really even that much better? Being ignored is never fun, right? Right? Invictus Eternus says, I'm having a lot of problems relationship-wise. It seems my social life's going down the drain. I have nobody. Everyone's fading away, and it all started 8 months ago when my friend and I ended the relationships we were in. Our girlfriends were friends, my friends, and I were close. Now everything is gone. If you have any advice about a social life, I'd love it. Thanks, Merry Christmas. Well, I kind of said it earlier, but I'll say it again here. Friendships end, relationships end, and that's a part of life, and you have to learn to cope with that and move on and find new people and find a chance to make new relationships and make new friends, because if you don't put that effort into it, it'll never happen. It's not going to fall in your lap. So join a club, join a group, travel, go to a neighboring city if you have to. Go to the local bar, go to the local hookah club, go to the local gaming store, meet new people, get a chance to meet new people. Go online, doesn't matter how you do it. You just have to put that effort into it. And there's 1,000 different ways it can be done. Whether it's meeting through online dating, whether it's meeting through a community group or something along those lines, there's always a way to meet new people. You got to do it. Or otherwise you stay stuck in that funk where you feel like nobody likes you and you don't have any friends. You don't have friends, you got to make more. And I think you know how to do it. But as it comes to your old friends, it looks like they're gone. And if that's the case, well, relationships end, friendships end, make new ones. McFender says, hey, Boogie, I was just wondering what your views on death were. Lately I've been really depressed and thinking maybe there is no God and maybe there is no afterlife. And if this is the case, what the hell are we doing here? What's the point of human morals and do-gooders if maybe it all doesn't matter? Anyway, maybe you could expand on your thoughts about it. Maybe tell us what you believe. You seem to be a smart enough guy, so please pick mine. Okay, I did. I picked yours. I've answered this question a few times, but I'll answer it here in a shorter version. Though there's a more extended version, and my opinions have changed, especially with my mother's death. You've been thinking that maybe there is no God and maybe there is no afterlife. And I hate to tell you, maybe there's not. And it really should not change the way you live your life one single bit. I talked to my sister after my mom's death, and I told her I didn't believe in God. And if I did, I certainly didn't believe in the Christian God that she believed in, that I was a theist, but not an atheist. I believed in the possibility of a God. So I was agnostic. And she said, well, what's to keep you from going out and stabbing somebody? What's to keep you out from robbing and beating people to death and killing people? Well, I don't want to do that because I don't want to do that. I don't want to harm other people. I don't want to steal. I don't want to rob. I don't want to be a bad person. I want to be a good person. And I don't do it out of fear of God. I don't do it out of a fear of hell. I do it out of, it's what makes me happy. And does being a good person make you happy, I said? Isn't that why you do it? If you do all these things out of fear of God or fear of afterlife, you're not really doing them anyway. You're just being afraid. Ultimately, I believe in a creator. And I do that because there's an infinite room for the idea that somehow this universe, this experience that we have has been pushed into motion, whether it be from another intelligent race in the universe, whether it be from some mythical god-like creature, whether it be something that created the universe itself and we're just a part of it, whether or not it's much more complicated and incomprehensible than that. I leave my brain open to the idea that there's a possibility that something did it. And why are we here? That doesn't answer that question. But I'll tell you what I do know about why we're here. We're here to enjoy our lives. We're here to make the best of it. We're here to further our own agendas, our own experiences, our own pleasures, and the pleasures of our family and friends, and the human race itself. And if you're achieving these goals, it doesn't matter if there's a God. If you're achieving these goals, it doesn't matter if there's an afterlife. You'll live a good and happy and just life here. If you're sitting around depressed because, there's no God, there's no afterlife, what's the point? Then you're wasting the one thing you do have, the one thing you know for certain you have. You can't know if there's a God. You can't know if there's an afterlife. You do know you have this experience. So make the best of it. It doesn't matter. And sitting around being depressed, laying on your ass, wondering about these things, it's not as important as achieving your goals, making yourself and the other people you care about happy, furthering the species, and making the experience that we all share communally better. It's what I try to do every day with my YouTube videos. And I'm almost fairly certain after watching my mother die in such terrible pain that there can't be a loving and just God. I'm almost certain of it. But that said, it doesn't change me from wanting to be a loving and just person. Taking the time to answer these questions, I think, is a good example of that. Shouldn't keep you from doing it either. Funko Phone says, I've been studying my ass off for all month on my final history exam, which I'm writing tonight, and this morning I realized that by some cruel trick of fate, I retained absolutely no information despite how much I've studied. I don't know if I'm just psyching myself out or what, but I'm freaking out over this exam and don't feel as though I know enough to get a respectable grade. Well, I'm curious as to whether or not you are going to get that respectable grade. You need to post and let me know. Hopefully you see this video and I'll know whether or not you failed. But ultimately, I have a feeling you did. I think you did all right. Tube Mateo says, Hi, Boogie. I just want to know how can a person a little bit different from a regular basis can survive in the society in which we live. I ask because for me and you, or for me, you're a very funny and intelligent guy, but for most people, you're just a fat guy. A little bit like me, most of the people that know me say I'm very talented in my music, very creative. And for those who don't know me, they just see me as devil worship, satanic. My question is, should we change or not? You should be who you are. And if you are a devil worshiping satanic person, I'm curious as to why you feel that way and why you pursue that lifestyle, obviously. As anybody would be curious as to why I would pursue my lifestyle. And I answer that question often, I think. But that said, should you change? Well, if you're not doing anything that harms yourself, and you're not doing anything that harms other people, then probably you don't need to change. If you are doing something that harms yourself, in my case in point, and you can live with the damage that you're doing, more power to you. Um, you need to worry less about what other people think about you. The bottom line is, it doesn't matter. You're not doing anything criminal, nothing they can throw you in jail for, nothing they can punish you for. You're not harming other people. Who gives a flying fuck what they think? Live your life. It's yours. The only thing you have in this life to do is to be healthy and happy. And if you can achieve those two things by doing whatever it is you mentioned, that's what you should do. Maybe in some places, some of the people around you are trying to give you advice that they think will help improve your life and will help you achieve the goals of being healthy and being happy. And that's the case for me. A lot of them want to see me lose the weight because they think it'll make me happier. And in that case, you really should give it some consideration. And maybe they are right. Maybe someone close to you does see that and wants to help you. And then if you've got to step in the right direction and you want to change and they want you to change, maybe in that one case, you should consider it. Poi Angel, cute name, says, I need some advice, Boogie. I'm 17. I have a boyfriend who's also 17. We've been together for 2 years. The thing is, we both live in different countries, and my dad doesn't really want to accept him, and I'm going to my boyfriend's for Christmas. Still haven't told my dad about it yet. Any advice on how to let my dad accept my boyfriend or how to tell him about Christmas? My dad is kind of strict. The person, so it's difficult to tell him stuff. Hope you can help. First off, I hope you're already there and having an excellent time, and damn the consequences. I don't know what country you live in, and being 17 in America is very different from being 17 in Europe. So as to what your rights are and what your capacities are and how to truly give you advice here, not an area that I can comfortably do so. But here's what I can tell you is that if you care about somebody and you want your dad to accept that person, you just have to be open and communicative. Let them know how you feel. Let them know why you feel that way, and hope for the best. And either your dad will come around or it won't. It shouldn't change what you choose to do in your life, ultimately, unless, of course, I guess your dad is right. Going to spend Christmas with him, especially after you've been together for 2 years, sounds like a smart plan. And it's one that I hope you chose to do it. I hope that it turned out well. So you have to promise me, you have to let me know how it worked out. Dub Spinners says, hey, I'm a normal viewer here. I love your videos. So here's my question to you. I really like a girl, but I don't know if she likes me back. I want to ask her if she does, but I'm nervous, so I was wondering. Do you have any advice about that for me? If not, that's okay. And my question isn't one of those questions that you choose to make a video response of. You don't mind just leaving me a private message. Well, obviously, I've chosen your question, so that's good. And I hope you've watched enough of the video to get to here. Ultimately, being friend-zoned sucks. I hope you're at least her friend and got a chance to know her, and she got a chance to know you enough to where you like her, and there's a possibility that she'll like you. Ultimately, the easiest way to do it is just to ask. Take one of those times that you get to spend time with her, pull her aside, and bring it up. If she's a girl that you don't know very well and you're admiring her from afar, you need to give her a chance to get to know you. You just walk up to a random girl and say something stupid, well, it's just going to chase them off every time, especially if you look like me. But for the most part, unless you're ridiculously good looking, it's just going to scare them. So instead of asking weird, awkward questions, walk up and say hello and get to know them and say hi and maybe ask them out for a cup of coffee and just hang out and see what happens. And if she likes you on that initial basis, then she'll say yes. And if she doesn't, then she doesn't. And that's it. You go on, you move on, and you live the rest of your life. And if you are friend-zoned, God knows I've been friend-zoned with every girl I've ever cared about. And I had to work my way out of the friend zone, of course, and most of the relationships I've been in. You basically just have to approach it as simple as one day pulling her aside, setting her down, and while you're having a good time, say, hey, I'd like more. And either she will or she won't. And what you do from there, boy, that's anybody's guess. That's up to your individual decision making. Mr. Dave, 1988, says, a couple of years ago, I lost touch with my best friend after a difficult and ugly argument. He now lives in Canada, and 2 years on, I feel it's about time we put our differences aside and got back in touch. You think it's worth it after not speaking for so long? If so, how do you think I should go about it? One of my good friends, I hate to even mention him by name because he may end up seeing this video one day, Kenny. Me and him had a falling out almost 10 years ago. Silly as that can be. We had an argument. I was in a terribly bad place mentally, and ultimately it just worked out to where we didn't talk to each other for a long, long time. And then one day he came back into my life, mostly him, I think, making most of the effort. And it was one of the greatest things that have ever happened. I'm so glad to have my old friends back. So that said, yeah, you should definitely consider it. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, I wouldn't put too much weight in whether or not it works out. But ultimately, man, give him a call and start talking about old times and remind him of the valuable times that you shared and the good times that you've had together. And if he's interested, he'll want to pick it right back up where you left off. And, eventually you're probably going to have to apologize, and he'll probably do the same, and you'll go on. But sure, man, there's nothing like the comfort of an old friend, It's always worth a shot, especially this time of year. I am Halo Boy Production. It says, I think my girlfriend's cheating on me, and I have no idea. I'm proposing to her very soon. I just don't want to be fucked over again. Like I always do, life sucks. Help me out. Well, like I said, I've been cheated on several times, and it's no fun. And if it really comes down to it, man, you really don't think maybe you don't need to propose. Because proposing is not going to fix the problem, man, especially if she's cheating. And if she's cheating now, it's better you found out now than later. You can't be in a position in which you're either thinking, hey, I want to marry you. Hey, are you cheating on me? You can't ask that same question in the same conversation. So you need to find out, man. You need to be sure. You need to know that you can trust this girl, man. And it sounds like you already don't. You can't marry somebody you don't trust. Bottom line is, you need to find out. And I wouldn't do anything crazy. I wouldn't do anything stupid. I wouldn't be angry. I wouldn't fight with her. I wouldn't drag it out of her. There are ways to find out. And I think if you really sit down and maybe just talk to her, you get a good idea. Ask her if she's happy. Go from there. The SMI Jammer says, hey, Boogie, I've got just a question. Is it natural to get jealous over a stupid thing my girlfriend does with other people? Just for example, she wants to see a film with some guys and they're just mates. I mean, I would get jealous, then depressed in a way. Is this normal? Because I just want to be with her all the time. Please help. Do I have a problem? You have a problem called codependency, it sounds like. And it sounds like you want to be around her 24/7, and that's just not a healthy way to be. And you specifically don't want to be in a situation where she wants to be around you 24/7. Now, don't get me wrong, in most healthy marriages and a lot of live-in relationships, seeing the person you're with several hours a day is natural and healthy, but it's also important to have separate lives as well. And that involves having separate friends and separate other things. If you're pretty sure this girl's not the kind of girl that will cheat on you, you're pretty sure that this girl loves you, you're pretty sure that she wants to be with you romantically, her wanting to be with friends on a friend level shouldn't mean anything, whether they're male or female or anything else. So if you're comfortable and confident in your relationship, there shouldn't be a problem there. And the problem is, you're not comfortable in your relationship. Now, neither could be the relationship itself. It could be the fact that she is actually cheating on you and you suspect it, or it could be the fact that you personally have some self-esteem issues. And all of these things probably need to be worked out through relationship counseling or with her. Or ultimately, if it's self-esteem issues, with counseling yourself. But there are answers here, and it is a problem because it's the kind of thing, jealousy like that can ruin a relationship. I know for a fact when I was a teenager, that exact same thing happened. So you don't want it happening. And you got to learn to put a cap on it, man. Either you trust the girl or you don't. And if you do, you need to trust her. And if it's just wanting about spending more time with her, well, you should openly, confidently, and comfortably communicate that with her. I want to spend more time with you. And I want to see that movie with you. I'd like to go with you then. And, if she's going to have her limits, there's only so much time she'll want to spend around you if she's normal and healthy and happy. And you're either going to have to learn to accept those limits and make your own time or get help. Learning to do that. Multi Whoop Whoop says, okay, I want some advice. I have this girlfriend who I've been dating for over a year now, and well, she isn't the brightest crayon of the box. I mean, I love her to death and all, but sometimes it just gets to be too much. I have to explain some of the simplest things, and it just gets so frustrating sometimes. Recently, it's been causing a lot of stress, and I have thought about leaving her. What do you think I should do? I once dated the girl who used wrongs and words completely incorrectly, a little differently from the way I did it, and mispronounced some of the most basic words, and it was very frustrating. And I often thought about leaving her for it, but our relationship was strong on other levels, and I ended up staying for quite a while because of that. Ultimately, the deciding factor of ending that relationship was not the fact that we had separate IQs. You might be happier with somebody who's smarter than her and smarter, closer to your level of intelligence. I can't tell you for sure, but it's something you'll definitely want to consider if and when you're in the market for a new mate in the future. Um, and if you're thinking about breaking up with this girl and you're not particularly happy, I mean, ultimately you've got to weigh the pros and cons, man. You got to sit down and really think it through, and I can't do that for you. I don't know whether or not you'd rather be with a smart girl, rather run the risk of being alone for a while trying to find that smart girl, knowing you may never do. I don't know if you actually love the girl you're with. Doesn't sound like it. You're thinking about dumping her over something like this. But it's something you really want to give some thought, and ultimately I'd like to hear what you decide. And that's it, man. Wow, I've answered like 20 questions. My mouth is dry and miserable, and I am done. So I'm curious as to what you guys who view this think about the advice that I've given. Is it on base? Is it the advice you'd have given? Do you like the advice I've given? Just kind of curious. And for those of you who have had a good Christmas, congratulations. I'm happy for you. Those of you who are suffering into the new year, who are having issues and problems, know that I will help in what limited capacity that I can. I'm here for you. I hope that you and yours are having a great time. Hope you take the time to rate, comment, subscribe, and all those beautiful things. And I will see you in the new year.